Many health coaches using AI right now in 2026 are making themselves look worse, not better. Inside this episode, I'll tell you exactly why, what to do about it, and how to use AI ethically and appropriately if you're a health coach who's just trying to help your clients and save a little bit of time in the process.
What's up and welcome to Sam Miller Science, where you're joining me just over a decade into my personal journey of working to bridge the gap between metabolism, macros, muscle, and medicine, all while helping coaches scale the impact that they desire and deserve. If you are here, thank you so much for listening and for trusting me to help you elevate your coaching game or to lead you in your transformation to realize your true potential. In either case, each week I'll be sharing my methods, models, and message to serve as leverage for your specific goals. Without further ado, let's get on to today's show.
Now, when you're scrolling through your feed, you can feel AI immediately, and not necessarily just videos where people are now using software to basically recreate themselves or their voice, which can be incredibly misleading for consumers or just kind of leave a weird taste in your mouth if you're used to seeing videos of them. But people are thinking AI lacks personality. It's becoming more generic and almost telegraphed in a way. Like I can look at a carousel post, for example, on coming off birth control, where it says most women aren't breaking. They were never rebuilt in the first place. AI has some characteristic writing flaws that are abundant across all LLMs. So when someone is outsourcing their entire voice and their content to these tools, they're losing a combination of their personality, their writing style, and an opportunity to build trust with the people who are following them. If you're a coach, your value is actually in your judgment, in your lived experience, in your perception of different situations, and even your intuition. But when you outsource all of that to AI, you're losing your voice in the process, as well as the ability to share lived experiences and stories that makes you relatable in the first place. The second you begin to outsource that, your content starts to flatten, it gets a little bit more boring, and people have a hard time even resonating with the message that you're sharing. And the last thing you want as a health and fitness professional is to be less relevant to the people that you're trying to speak to. So rather than replacing you, the health coach or the business owner, let's talk about some valuable ways that you can actually incorporate AI and evolving technology into your business that don't involve ChatGPT health or completely abandoning your brand just to try to be more efficient with your content. I know it's tempting to take some ideas and just plug it into whatever AI tool that you're using, but I promise you there's a better way. And inside this episode, I will share with you some of my favorite ways to use it without making your clients feel weird, your audience feel weird, or you losing sight entirely of why you even got into this industry in the first place. Where AI actually helps is with the boring stuff, transcribing calls so you don't have to take endless notes and being able to search through past conversations with clients. Maybe it's something from a Zoom call so that you can gather what you need to then design that person's program or reference something personal in a future check-in. It's also potentially using AI to organize notes so you can actually see patterns across clients or maybe something that's a theme if you're working with a particular avatar. You can use it to clean up your writing after you've already drafted something in your voice. So think of it as an enhanced version of Grammarly, but now with an AI tool, you can do this at scale, at speed for a number of different content pieces in a given prompt or single chat. So this would be cleaning up grammar and syntax if you want, maybe punctuation, or just getting some ideas of how to be more concise with your writing. But there's a lot of AI fluff out there. And so because of that, there's redundancies, it's too smooth. There's a very similar pattern across writing styles. And so when people abuse the editing and it's changing their voice rather than just changing their punctuation, you can really feel it. Another great opportunity for AI is as it pertains to visuals and design elements. I don't know about you guys, but I never was great in art class. I think it was one of the only times in school where I got a C or a C+. And so design and art has never been a strong point for me, but I can articulate what I'm trying to create, or if I want something to match my brand and the way that I want things to look. So AI presents a great opportunity for people who are good with the spoken word or good at writing, and they want to describe what they want to see, but they would never be able to draw it themselves. So see, even in just the first few minutes in this episode, we've talked about a number of different ways to use this tool to save time and potentially even save you money versus outsourcing or hiring a contractor. Where people really mess this up is they use it before they've thought anything through. So they're asking chat what they should say instead of deciding what they actually think about a topic and then plugging it into the tool. They generate instead of reflect. So the best thing you could possibly do is maybe write something down, pen and paper, or even in a Word doc or Google Doc, and then take that idea and put it into an actual tool. But instead, people aren't necessarily generating these ideas on their own. They're relying and outsourcing their entire intellectual process to AI. And that's why it all starts to sound the same. And there's nothing worse in the health and fitness industry than a bunch of homogenized generic content about all the same topics like strength training, macros, hydration, fiber, and step counts, because that's what's happening is it's an AI homogenized blend of all of that online on all of the same topics. And so one of the things I'm a big proponent of is not only having the ability to differentiate the topics that you're talking about through more advanced knowledge and skill set, but also having unique stories to back that up through what you've been able to do and deploy with your actual clients in your coaching practice. Then by having a unique voice, having some stories, whether it's related to you, your own health, or your client's health, you can actually stand out when it comes to all these different people who are trying to use AI on social media in an attempt to save time and make more money, but it's actually just making them look worse. An important thing that health coaches are forgetting in this entire conversation is you don't get to be synthetic or artificial, which is really what this AI creative process is, and be credible, genuine, and authentic at the same time. So many people put things like authentic in their bio or talk about it in their feed, and it's so quickly how the tables have turned as soon as these LLMs have become available and people think that they can just work less and continue to operate with their brand online. If you want a super clean rule, don't use AI upstream of your own thinking. It should follow downstream to help enhance the workflow of processes that you may already be doing inside your business. So I gave you guys some examples earlier. Maybe that's a tool like Fathom for calls that you're already doing. Maybe it's taking a Loom transcription from a client check-in and putting it into chat or some type of LLM or agent to refine your notes and save it for future check-ins. So think it first, write it first, say it first, and then let AI help you tighten the process, organize it, or present it a little bit better. I think that's one of the best ways to use it right now. It comes across the most genuine and heartfelt, and it still actually sounds like you. If you end up flipping that order, it shows up every time. Just how when I pulled up that post on my Instagram feed, and I've seen the same thing. It's not just about birth control or menopause. I've seen the same thing be true for posts about muscle building, certain supplements like curcumin. I've seen it be true for men's health and low testosterone. There's cliche sayings and phrases and a lot of the redundancy that AI tends to bring. And if you're going to use AI at all, it needs to be trained on you, your business, your clients, your brand, how you actually talk about things, what's your background, and how did you even get into this industry in the first place? Because if it doesn't know what you stand for, it's literally just pulling from a million other opinions on the internet on trending topics and bringing it back to you. And it also tries to make you feel good. AI is not going to necessarily disagree with you. So if you're down a rabbit hole of something that's not even beneficial for you, AI tends to do a lot of appeasing behavior, which is the last thing you want in your creative process when you're actually trying to stand out or be unique in your own way. People are pulling from the literal average of the internet, the average blog, the average forum, the average social media post, or the average article, and then wondering why they sound like everyone else. And it's because AI is just pulling from that average unless you actually constrain it and tell it not to do that, amongst other things you can do to make it a little bit better and more refined in your creative process. So please, for the love of your future coaching and the clients or prospects who follow you, don't put things into AI like, help me write this post, or give me 10 ideas, or turn this into a carousel. I would hope you got into this industry because you actually enjoy spending time on these topics, and it's something you're passionate about, where you'd like to share your own perspective through your lived experience and the clients that you've worked with. And if you haven't worked with clients, you probably still have your own story you can share. So the last thing we want to be doing is having you putting in these prompts, but if I were to go to your page and if I can swap your Instagram handle with anyone else's and nothing changes in terms of content and topics and the way that the message is delivered, that's a pretty big red flag. That's a problem. And that's what we want to avoid, because your whole value is in how you actually see things, perceive them, and then put it into action for yourself or a client. So I'm not against Claude or ChatGPT or Manus or any other tool, but let it be something that enhances who you are and the coach that you're trying to become, not take away from it. These tools aren't yet reliable enough to be using them for client answers or email responses. It's not necessarily unique enough for you to be writing every single post, every carousel, or having it make all of your video scripts. And if you are someone who feels like you want to shift that direction and use it, you have to train the tools. You have to either constrain them or give them incredibly strong prompts in order to create better quality content. So it's not to say that it's not possible to make content using the tools. But if you're not the most tech savvy person or you're unfamiliar with what those prompts are, you need to be careful because you could be damaging your reputation if you're not using these things the right way and still sharing the responses from the tool with the world. So by all means, I would encourage you to stay up to date with the latest technology and artificial intelligence, but you can use ChatGPT for something else besides just your content. Maybe it's for helping research a topic related to your family or finding a vendor that serves your neighborhood for a project that you need done at your house. You can use the tools to save time in other ways besides entirely replacing your voice and coaching style on social media. So for example, Nano Banana is a great design tool. You can use tools like Manus, Claude, or Perplexity as potential research enhancers for work that you're already doing. And if you have a pretty good process of things that you like to search or follow or particular journals that you enjoy, you may want to actually tell the tool to look there first rather than pulling information from a random Reddit thread. If there's one thing you take away from this podcast, I hope that your use of AI makes you more present with clients and even more precise afterwards, or more efficient and save time. It's not supposed to necessarily turn into your entire content factory that represents you and your business. AI can shine with that boring stuff: transcriptions, code, refining SOPs, maybe even cleaning up pass writing that you've done that's already in your voice. It's not to say that none of that's possible. It is, and many teams around the world are using the tool to actually help the team members, right? AI gives humans some superpowers versus viewing it as an entire replacement for humans. That's not to say that a year from now, after I first record this podcast, that may change or that there won't be new tools or software available. I'm sure that that's all possible. Now, that's not to say that this won't change in the future or that there won't be tools, software, or other artificial intelligence enhancements available to even help the average user get a lot better at content creation. But for now, it's certainly not a strong point, and AI can be used in other ways to save time without ruining relationships, reputation, or your brand. Remember, health coaching is already in a bit of a fragile place culturally. This industry is still relatively new, and there's already been folks online burn your clients or your followers before they even found you. So there's already a high degree of skepticism. Trust is already low. Don't give people another reason to question your work or what you're doing. If you're removing the human element from the work you do, you're unintentionally reinforcing that skepticism. But if you use AI to be more precise, more organized, and more present with your clients, it's actually going to do the opposite. And that's what I hope for you. If you enjoyed this episode, learned something new, or it changed your perspective on some of these tools, please support the show by leaving a 5-star rating and review on audio, or a thumbs up if you are watching on video. And make sure you're subscribed so you never miss an episode. If this resonated with you and you think other people could benefit, chances are you found the show because someone else shared it with you, or you saw it on their Instagram stories or another social media feed. So you can pay that forward and continue the ripple effect of coaching by sharing it on social media and tagging me at Sam Miller Science. Each and every share helps to build our like-minded community of health and fitness professionals and health enthusiasts who are trying to either change their own lives or the people that they work with. I appreciate you guys. Thanks so much for tuning into another episode of Sam Miller Science, and I'll talk to you in the next show.